Hey guys, welcome to LA Love Creative, and today we're talking about a photo shoot I recently had in downtown Los Angeles. I basically had this awesome studio called Flick Studio. I had my makeup artist and 2 models coming in, and in this video I want to just break down my thought process of how I shot these photos for this agency that I work with and how I encountered some of the problems that I had on that day of shooting. One of the problems that we actually had is the sun was going in and out of this location. Which meant sometimes the windows were blown out, sometimes the windows were underexposed. I tried to use a flash, which ultimately that's what you're going to want to do in a situation like this. But a lot of the times, shit happens, and my flash literally actually broke while I was shooting. So I had to rely on basically blowing out the windows a little bit. I knew the agency wouldn't really mind about that. And just trying to use the camera's actual exposure tools, the meter on the camera, to have a decent exposure where the windows are not too blown out and the model is properly exposed. And I think we found a good little middle ground, and I think these images turned out great portfolio images. And I really captured the style that I was trying to get, which was like clean and just simple. Another look I was going for was more of a vintage look. This studio had a very old school furniture style, and I really wanted to pair that with the outfits. So what we did is we used the outfits that the stylist had, but we also had some boots that the model brought that I really think fit the vibe, and they really gave the images a vintage look, almost like a 70s or 80s look that complemented the furniture, and that's what we did. I tried to shoot through the mirror in this part right here. Couldn't work because my big ass was in the shot every time inside the mirror, so obviously that didn't work. But I think the images turned out great, and the model was really happy, and the agency was overall pretty happy with the images. One tip when you are shooting is, make sure that when you're shooting with a model, especially if you've never shot with them before, they don't know you. They don't, they have no idea. All they know is your work from Instagram or your portfolio. So try to make sure you're showing the images to the model. And here I am showing the images to the model, and she was really into it. So just make sure you make the, whole production process a collaborative effort when you can, when there's no client there. When you can just really try to make it more of a collaboration, and you'll get, ultimately better pictures. As far as camera equipment, I was shooting on the Canon EOS R, not the R6, because my R6 was actually being rented out. And then all the video portion is the Canon C70, which is my workhorse on this channel. If you've watched this channel, this far. I love these 2 cameras. I think they work really well. The EOS R is still an amazing photography camera, and I use it all the time. And as far as video, the C70, I think obviously speaks for itself. While the first model was shooting, the makeup artist was actually doing makeup for the second model, Charlotte. Now, when I was shooting Charlotte, my vibe for this was more luxurious, high fashion. So there was an issue with the makeup. I love the winged eyeliner that the makeup artist actually did on the model. I think it turned out great. I think it was going for the exact vibes that I was personally going for. However, the agency wanted more of a simple look, because this is just going on the portfolio of these models. You have to keep that in mind when you're test shooting models and when you're working with agencies. They want more clean, simple looks and less dramatic and more high fashion looks, because they're really just trying to book the models and they really want to show them off in the most, clean and effective way. So for the, actual images, I actually ended up toning down the wing eyeliner and just keeping it just for my personal portfolio. But I still think it turned out really great. Regardless of the makeup, I think the images still turned out phenomenal. One of the issues I had was just like with Claire, with the first model, is the sun was going in and out. So you would have a bright image with the sun coming through the windows, and then you would actually have a darker image because the sun would go behind the clouds. It was like a gloomy slash, bright day in LA. So when that happens, when you're a photographer, you're gonna always encounter those situations. You can either use a flash, which, like I said, my flash actually broke, or you can just, pump your exposure. I'm not afraid to bump up my ISO. I'm not afraid to do anything like that. It's not a big deal for me. But if you really are a person who wants to shoot at 100 ISO and get the cleanest possible image, just make sure you have lighting and stuff prepared for any type of scenario. The last look of the day is a collaboration. We wanted something that was kind of lingerie, something that was kind of, dainty and fun. But what we did was we actually had was kind of like a dress robe, and we had the model wear like a lingerie piece underneath. And I thought it looked really cool, and I thought it looked really good in the space. When you are shooting white on top of white, like white curtains, white outfits, be prepared to have a very high key, blown out look. It's kind of hard to keep the exposure of both of those things together. So just be ready for that. And in a situation like this, once again, I was okay with blowing out the windows. I was okay with having things a little bit more blown out, a little bit more high key, but just be aware of that. And, not every client's cool with that. I just knew that this agency was not going to mind if I did that. Now, the sun was in and out the entire shoot day, and I had to just work with it. A lot of times as a photographer, you're going to work with it. You can't control the sun, but we actually got really lucky with Charlotte. Towards the end of the day, the sun started, beaming. The sun was going down. We had this beautiful hair light on the model, and I just really had to, move fast and really capitalize on that. And that's what I did. And this lighting lasted for maybe 2 minutes before it went back down, and then it never came back out again. So as a photographer, when you get the good light, you have to run towards it. You have to chase it. You have to get it and move fast, and just be prepared to move fast when you're on production. Now that's all I had to say today in this video. I just wanted to give a BTS video and voiceover video. I've never really did a video like this, just breaking down why I did certain things on my last photo shoot. I think it's important to just showcase your thought process as a photographer. If you have any questions about photography or videography, hit me up in the comments below, and I will see you next time. See you later.